SilverCrest Metals is a relatively new player in the mining sector of the TSX, but you and your team are certainly not. For anyone in the street that doesn't know your success story with your previous venture, can you give us a brief background and set the stage on how you're poised to do it again?
Yeah, a lot of our success goes back to 2003 when we created SilverCrest Mines, or what I call Old SilverCrest now. There was 3 business partners, myself, Scott Griever, and Barney Magnuson. We put together that entity, and at that point we created the foundation of our success, which has been repeated several times now over the last 14 years. So that foundation is don't overcommit the company to big land payments or big acquisition costs. Know your market. You want to look at being able to raise money in either a good or a bad market. We've had a lot of success in doing that. And you want to get into production as soon as possible with positive cash flow to grow the company. Organic growth, that's the success behind the old SilverCrest, and we just want to do that again in the new SilverCrest or SilverCrest Metals.
Your focus is on Mexico plays, both past and current. Can you give us some insight on why Mexico and how it is a recipe for success for your team? And expanding on that, tell us about your properties and your current progress and status.
I worked in over 30 countries around the world, and I find Mexico to be a very favorable environment for the mining industry and for doing business. Number one, it's close to, you're in the same time zone or close to the same time zone. So that's very important in trying to manage these things. I can get on an airplane, I live in Vancouver, British Columbia, I can get on an airplane and be down on site in Mexico, most places, the same day. That's very important for managing things. Mexico does bring a lot of advantages worldwide in its permitting practices from the governmental side. You can actually permit to put a mine into production in a very reasonable time. Whereas a mine like the success we had at Santa Elena for the old SilverCrest or SilverCrest Mines, we permitted that in about 6 months. That same mine, either in Canada or the US, could have taken several years. And what I've found through my experience is that shareholders are not willing to wait around for several years to have a mine permitted. So that's very important from a Mexico standpoint. The safety in Mexico, everybody hears about that. I've worked on and off in Mexico for 20 years and have never had any problems. It all comes down to common sense. And Mexico has great infrastructure, so I can get to most projects, drive a lot of them two-wheel drive vehicles, power, water, and has a reliable workforce and a good social environment for mining.
Last November, your company had an oversubscribed private placement, raising $2.5 million with a 15-cent unit. Fast forward to today, and can you tell us what your current cash position looks like, and also the current stock structure?
Yeah, we currently have just over $6.5 million in the bank. That's Canadian, and our outstanding shares are just under 40 million. Fully diluted is 51 million. So we're in a very good and unique position to be a cash-rich junior explorer in what I think is near the bottom of the market. And it's a great opportunity to acquire things that are very inexpensive. This goes back to part of our philosophy or our foundation of trying not to overcommit the company to huge costs and acquisitions up front or even from a long-term standpoint. So we are in a very good and unique position currently to take advantage of the low in the market.
Your team and its success is based on a responsible phased approach strategy. Can you give us a glimpse of the rollout of the Chistes Project and what that next stage looks like?
Again, part of the foundation of the original SilverCrest or the old SilverCrest was to do a phased development approach, which is just to me de-risking the project along the way. We did that successfully at Santa Elena. We're looking at doing that successfully at Las Chistes. Right now, Las Chistes is an exploration project, although there's 6 kilometers of underground workings currently that we're accessing. We have access today to about half of that. As we continue to open those workings, we're finding what we would consider to be high-grade mineralization in front of us that could have a rapid return on development as far as the schedule goes. So this all just means potentially a positive benefit to our shareholders or potential shareholders in the near future. So this is all from a phased approach at Las Chistes. You look at something small, high-grade underground, and get that into production if you have the proper economics. We're not at a point to really be discussing any production right now since it's exploration, and then grow it through cash flow and make it bigger. I like things that are usually two to 4 phases of de-risking, and Santa Elena was 3 phases, and I've worked on other projects around the world that have had multiple phases too. So we've had a lot of success in doing the phased business development, and I hope to do that at Las Chistes.
2016, we're starting to see some gains and enthusiasm for the mining sector, and especially some of the juniors again. I heard PDAC was a big success for you and everybody there. So what are your thoughts on what you're seeing right now, and do you think this is a turning point that mining investors have been waiting for and should take a look at and pay attention to?
Yeah, again, I think we're near a low. I don't know if we're there yet. I think we'll be struggling for another 12 months at least as we bounce. We'll just talk about gold price, and I'm a silver guy too. So just focusing on the gold price and the ratio of gold to silver, we'll be bouncing around the bottom here. There'll be some quick spikes up that people can take opportunities on, but until we get through the U.S. elections, till we get through and understand some of the bigger risks in the world over the next 12 months, I'm a cycles guy, and this is my 4th cycle going down in a down market in the mining industry, and they usually last somewhere between 6 to 7 years, and we'll be hitting that goal in my cycle next year. But if you like to focus on cycles, go ahead and do that. I like to make money whether it's a good or a bad market, and that's part of our success. So if we have a bad market, you just have to have much better management and much better projects to still make money and still survive. So we're survivors. Those people that were at PDAC this year, everybody there should be applauded for being survivors in this market, and look for rise in the tide coming.